welcome to my channel. I'm Andrea. In today's video I thought I would share my first ever Chanel bag buying experience. So this is going to be a long chatty one. Get your wine ready, have a wee sip, settle in and let's get chatting. So my first ever bag that I bought from Chanel was the medium classic flap in caviar leather. Before this bag I had never ever been into Chanel boutique. We don't even have any Chanel boutiques in Scotland. So I'd always been into Gucci. My husband had always bought me Gucci bags. For my 40th my husband had bought me this bag, and at the time this was around about £600+ and I thought that was really expensive, although it didn't stop me going back and getting the purse the next day. But anyway, Gucci aside, so I decided for my 50th I wanted the classic flap. So I started doing my research. I couldn't even go online or go onto the Chanel website at the time and see exactly how much they were. And you know, you wouldn't just walk up to somebody and say, you know, how much was your bag. Although one of my good friends did have or does have a classic flap in the jumbo size, but she had got hers years and years ago, and I think hers is actually the single flap. And she'd said to me, you know, when I started talking to her about buying a bag, she said to me, mine wasn't that expensive at the time, you know, like the prices I was quoting her. Anyway, so I started doing my research and kind of googled things, and that was how I discovered YouTube. So I started doing my research, and of course there came along Trina Levis, who really gave me all the information I needed. She used to stand there with her measuring tape and measure it, give you prices, so I knew roughly what I was going to pay for this bag. So I kind of looked to see which was the nearest Chanel boutique for me and decided to phone and inquire. But again, I'm not that person. If I'm phoning to inquire, I'm ready to buy. I'm really not the type to waste anybody's time. If I'm phoning to inquire about something I am interested, I am more than likely to buy. So I phoned up, I got all the information about the bag. They didn't at that time have any in stock, but they would let me know as soon as they got one in. They took my details. It was explained to me that I would have to do a bank transfer and the bag would be delivered to me. So yeah, and again it was having to make the choice, and I remember having to try and decide between the jumbo size and this classic flap size, and I decided on this size here. And the reason I decided on this size here was because I honestly didn't think that I would be adding another one. I thought this would be it, and I've still got the fill and everything sitting there, but I honestly thought this would be my bag and my only Chanel bag, and we all know what happened after that. But anyway, so I thought this would be the perfect size because I could use it on a daily basis if I wanted to. It's not a bag that I use on a daily basis, but if I wanted to go shopping I could use it. If I wanted to go on a night out I could use it. Now bearing in mind I only knew the measurements of this by what I had seen on YouTube, and I had actually drawn out the measurements as well, and I thought this would be the perfect size. Initially I ordered my bag and I ordered it in the lambskin, and then I kept watching the videos and decided no. I phoned them back and I said no, I didn't want it in the lambskin and I wanted it in the caviar leather. And honestly it only took about a week before they had got the bag for me. So they phoned me up and they said that they had the bag for me and would I like to do the bank transfer. I then decided I didn't want to do a bank transfer and asked if they would hold the bag for me for a couple of days, and I would be travelling to Manchester and I would pick up the bag, because I felt at that time, and I'll get into the price and everything of what I paid at the time, and I'll show you the packaging as well, because I felt at that time I had never done a bank transfer basically for a handbag before, and I thought, I'm doing a bank transfer to some random person in a boutique, do you know, and I really wasn't quite happy with doing that at the time. Since then I've done it time and time again, but at that time I thought, I'm giving you all my details and this, that. No, I wasn't happy with it. So anyway, and they said they would hold it for me, so they held it for me, and we drove down to Manchester, and they had the bag put by for me. My sales assistant at the time was absolutely amazing. She brought out the bag for me. She said, just before you take the bag, let me show you it in lambskin. You know, I had tried it on to see what it looked like and everything, but I had decided, and I am that person, when I decide on something I don't then change my mind. But in all honesty, when she brought out the lambskin, it literally took my breath away. I gasped. It was absolutely beautiful, but I was terrified to buy lambskin because of all the reviews that I had seen. And the other thing that put me off lambskin was when I used to see vintage Chanel bags on YouTube and they were lambskin, all the puffiness had deflated, and I don't like that look of a flat Chanel bag. That's just me. I know some people love it. I don't like that vintage flat looking lambskin. So that was the other reason. So I decided on this bag, and the sales assistant then went on and she told me all the history and all the stories of the love letters, and she went through the whole bag, and she spoke about every detail of the bag. She even told me that the Chanel classic flaps have these two, if you can see, a stitch there and a stitch there, which hold the flap in here, there and there. And if I open the bag, I don't like to pull it up to open, but I don't know, but that's the stitch there. That's a broken nail, but that's the stitch there and the stitch there. And what she did say to me was to expect those stitches eventually to loosen and to even maybe come apart. Mine have been absolutely fine, she said, and Chanel would fix that free of charge. So I was to expect this stitch and this stitch through time to, you know, loosen or even, you know, come apart. And that was the reason I decided to do the video, because I had watched my friend Mimi's video from Chateau Chic talking about when she took back her bag because of a stitch. Now I'm not sure if that's the stitch she was referring to, and Chanel had charged her to fix that. But I was specifically told by the sales assistant or the sales associate that these two stitches here would be fixed by Chanel free of charge, and to expect them to come away eventually. But I've yet to have any problems with the bag. So yeah, that was my first ever Chanel experience, and you know, I had absolutely the best ever experience, especially as it was my first ever Chanel experience in the boutique. And I've always dealt with the Chanel boutique in Manchester, and I have found them always very helpful. Since buying the classic flap, I have added a few items, but I've always phoned up and spoken to SAs over the phone, and I don't like to deal with one specific one, because I feel as a customer I should be treated the same by any one of them answering the phone, and I have been. And you know, when they send things up to me, you know, they send me a card thanking me, you know, it's all very personal. The packaging is always amazing. I do have to pay delivery. Initially I think the delivery was £10. The last time I ordered from Chanel, the delivery had gone up to £12. I haven't ordered anything recently. I think the last thing I ordered was my Chanel coin purse, I think, from Chanel. I think it was my Chanel coin purse. But yeah, this is the packaging. I had the black bag, the black bag as well. And I think I've actually got the footage of my unboxing. Now, I wasn't on YouTube at the time. I had been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and you know, I wanted my husband to film me unboxing the bag. So I bought the bag, went to Manchester, and I couldn't bring myself to open it for days. It wasn't yet my birthday anyway, although I had got it for my birthday. I wasn't 50 either. I couldn't wait till my 50th. I think I was 49. And yeah, my husband filmed me in it, and I just decided, I think it was on a Sunday morning, I decided I was going to open it up. I was in my pyjamas, and he just filmed me opening it up, and I was really quite nervous because of the amount of money I had spent on this bag. I actually had a few sleepless nights thinking about the money I had spent, but it was at a time where I was dealing with my mum's dementia, and when I looked at her I thought, you know what, life is so short, and look at her, she can't even appreciate anything that she has, you know, even the memories. She's even lost her memories, and I thought, money's nothing. You know, I'm getting that bag. So yeah, I got myself the bag, and I don't regret it for 1 minute. So this is the packaging that it came in. I've still got the flower there, the magnetic box, here it is just here, and the black tissue paper. And I think you only get the black tissue paper with the classics, I think. And yeah, that was my receipt, and you know, all the beautiful pleating of the paper is still pleated. My ribbon is just there, I have it all, and my receipt is just here. And I could even tell you the date that I bought this. It was February the 9th 2014, and the price of the bag at the time was £2,740. So I had a wonderful buying experience in Chanel Manchester. The essay was amazing. She gave me all the time. It was a Sunday when we drove down. It was busy, but she was absolutely amazing. She made my experience in Chanel the best ever. I felt special. I felt wonderful. She gave me all her time without making me feel uncomfortable. She kept saying to me, just take your time. I knew I wanted the bag. I absolutely knew I wanted the bag. And I've often thought, you know, knowing now my collection, would I still have gone for the caviar leather? Because like I said in my last video, you know, I really haven't had any problems with the lambskin, but I don't know, it is beautiful. Look at it, I still absolutely love it, and it looks as beautiful as the day I got it. And you know, when I first got the bag, before I got my jumbo, you know, since getting my jumbo, this has taken a bit of a back seat, but I think a lot of my bags took a back seat when I got my jumbo. But I used to use it all the time, absolutely love it. The gold is still as gold when I got it, you know, it just looks like the first day I got it. It's absolutely beautiful. So that was my first ever experience in Chanel, and it was such a good experience I went back again and again. What can I say? Anyway, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to give me a thumbs up. Cheers, and I'll catch you next time. Bye! I'd just like to add at this point, if you're still watching the video, this video is dedicated to my beautiful friend Mimi, who is going through a bit of a hard time at the moment. She's suffering quite badly with her back. She's having to go in for an operation, and she's lying in her bed because she can't move through all the pain, just watching YouTube videos. Mimi, if you're watching right to this very last minute, I wish you a speedy recovery, pain-free, and I can't wait to see you back on YouTube, my friend. And to everybody else that's watching, I wish you health and happiness. Cheers.